Hey everyone, so I'm back again with another video. This time around I wanted to do something a little bit more personal and share a story with you guys. Pretty much I wanted to share with you guys one of my earliest gaming experiences. Uh, Pretty much as a lot of people my age and even older than me remember, one of their earliest video game experiences was with the NES. Now, when I was a little kid and I at least remember playing the NES, it was already about an 8-year-old console. It was definitely not new, and the Super Nintendo had already been out for a few years. I don't remember the first time that I actually played the system, but one of my memories is from when I was just 3 years old. Pretty much, the games that I mainly played were Mario Bros. Duck Hunt and Mario Bros. 2. Now, Mario Bros. 2 I didn't really enjoy, and most of the times I avoided playing it because it was always the cartridge that I had the most difficulty with. It just never seemed to want to load up, so I would just ignore that game. Either way, I liked the original Super Mario Bros. Even more so. And Super Mario Bros., my number one memory is constantly playing the first two levels over and over again. And every time that I would jump, I would shake the controller up with every single jump. And I was just a dumb little kid, but I felt that at the time, shaking the controller up also made a difference, and it made him jump further or jump higher, and I just continued on with it. Now with Duck Hunt, though, Duck Hunt, I was never good at the game. I would mostly just have fun shooting the gun, but I never really enjoyed it. Most of the times because I could never hit the targets, and the damn dog, it's the same story with everybody. Everybody hates the dog. I particularly hated him, but there's plenty of people out there that really hated him. Now, a couple of other games that maybe not everybody played at the time, they were still popular games, but I don't see that many people talking about them anymore. Three other games that I played the most often on the NES when I was younger was Monster Party, Golgo 13, and Clu Clu Land. And I would say Clu Clu Land, for me, to this day, is still way too difficult for me. Golgo 13, I've gotten a little bit better at it, but I just can't get past the first level. It's near impossible for me. And Monster Party, I just can't figure out what the hell you're supposed to do. I just find with a lot of older games, especially NES games, I have a very hard time figuring out what you're supposed to do, most of the times at least. Now, as for computer gaming, the story is a little bit different for me. We didn't have a computer in the family until the mid to late 90s, so let's see, it was about, I think, 97, 98 when we got our first computer, and we basically did nothing with it, and we played with it for a little bit, and then it was pretty much done for. And then we didn't get another computer until after 2000, and then that's when we really started using the computer, but mostly for school stuff and instant messaging and things like that, as most people did at the time, and also plenty of Flash games. But before that point, I did have access to computers in school, and especially once I started kindergarten. I was 3.5 when I started kindergarten. I was actually more than 3.5. I was about to turn 4. And I remember some of the early games and sort of programs that I messed around with on the computer. Some of the names of the games have sort of escaped me after all this time, but I remember them fondly, especially this one sort of, I believe it was some kind of an adventure game where you'd have to rescue a princess, but there were dragons and witches, and basically it was just a mess of bad graphics, but it was still enjoyable as a kid. But the number one game that I remember from when I was a kid was Math Circus, or Maths Circus. I honestly can't remember, and from what I'm seeing online, some people are calling it Maths Circus, and other people are just calling it Math Circus. But basically, there were games that focused on just basic math, and they were circus themed, like trapeze artists, clowns, people on unicycles, pretty much that kind of stuff. And they interjected math questions to help you figure out the puzzles. And I have to say, I played that game all the way up until 2000, pretty much. Another thing that I played very often on Macs in the 90s, because in the 90s the only computers that I used were Mac computers. I didn't really use any PCs at the time. I, again, got my first PC in 2000, but in the 90s, throughout the 90s, they were mostly Macs, and throughout almost the good majority of my early education, all the way up until high school, pretty much, we were using Mac computers. Now, one of the other programs that I used very often, that I have very fond memories of, is KidPix and Mac Paint. Now, KidPix, for those of you that don't know, both of these programs are paint programs, but graphics in the early to mid 90s were pretty terrible for the most part. Very basic, especially Mac Paint. Very early versions of Mac Paint were just in black, white, and gray, pretty much just grayscale. And the effects and stuff like that, especially for like erasing stuff or stamping things, were very basic and super pixelated. But it was so enjoyable as a kid. I just absolutely fell in love with Mac computers. And even to this day, I have a Mac. I have several Macs, actually. Two newer Mac computers and one older Mac. But the older Mac that I have isn't that old. It's just from 1999. It's an iMac G3, I believe. One of those all-in-one computers. It was colorful, and it was just a big part of my sort of middle school life. I absolutely love that computer, and I fell in love with the Mac operating system from a pretty early age, at least. I believe that by the time I got to using that computer, I was about 11, and yeah, I was about 11, so that's about half my age, a little bit less than half my age at this point. And I'm just, to this day, still using Mac computers. I have used PCs, I just haven't had as much of a connection with them, and I always end up getting worried about using them, them crashing and having to be replaced or fixed or whatever. I haven't had as many worries with Mac computers, and again, to this day, my iMac G3 still works, and I'm surprised that it still works and works perfectly fine. Anyways, this sort of got not out of hand, but it sort of just escaped me in the end. I went off into a tangent of my early experiences with computers and computer games and programs, but these are all my earliest memories and earliest, I guess, happy moments using both computers and playing video games. I enjoyed them. To this day, you can obviously tell that video games still are a big part of who I am, and definitely technology overall I enjoy it still to this day, and I will for many years to come, unless, of course, something devastating happens and destroys all technology for the rest of the future. Um, and pretty much just, I'm going to continue on enjoying these things as long as I can. And, yep, I think that's about it. As always, leave comments in the comment section below. Anything you'd like to say, comments, questions, suggestions, ideas, anything at all, and I'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can. Also, any stories that you have, your earliest memories of playing a video game, or any early computer stories that you might have, anything that you'd like to share, just leave it in the comment section below, and we can talk about it. Check out my 300 subscribers contest. It'll be linked in the description below. Check out my Facebook, Twitter, website. They're all linked in the description below as well. And that's all I have to say. See ya.